Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. We are here to help you get informed quickly and thoroughly on the market's most fascinating stories. Today, we're tackling a pretty major question about a company that's gone through a huge transformation. Used to be, a pure play crypto miner. Now, maybe something else entirely. So, is now a good time to buy Cipher mining? We'll review the source material covering their recent financials, those blockbuster new partnerships, and what the analysts are thinking. But before we really get into it, we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe and like this analysis. Helps us out. And hey, if you want us to look into a specific company, just drop a comment below. We do read those. Yeah, this is a complex one, but really compelling. Cipher mining, historically, very sensitive to the whole crypto roller coaster, right? But the sources show these recent strategic moves, well, they suggest a pretty definitive pivot, maybe towards a more stable, high-performance computing model. We'll synthesize all this information to help you understand the real risks and, frankly, the scale of the potential rewards here.
Okay, let's jump right into the news that seems to have fundamentally changed the whole investing story here. We're not just talking mining efficiency anymore. It's this massive 10-year agreement with FluidStack.
Right, and FluidStack is notably backed by Google. That's not insignificant.
Definitely. It's for AI hosting capacity.
Exactly.
This deal is kind of the elephant in the room, isn't it? $3 billion in contracted revenue.
Minimum. $3 billion secured.
And it could reach, what, $7 billion if they hit the extensions?
Potentially, yes. $7 billion. This isn't just, maybe revenue down the line. This is secured, long-duration cash flow locked in.
Huge.
And what's fascinating beyond the dollar amount is the strategic validation it brings. Think about it. This single contract locks up over 168 megawatts of high-value hosting capacity.
168 megawatts, yeah.
But it's more than just the capacity number. Securing a top-tier name, like a Google-backed entity, that validates Cipher Mining's tech stack, their IP. It basically tells the market, look, these guys aren't just running sheds full of cheap miners anymore. They can meet the really strict demands of top-tier AI clients.
Okay, so that's the key shift then. If you bought this stock 6 months ago, you thought you owned a crypto miner.
Pretty much.
Now, the sources suggest you actually own an AI infrastructure play.
It's a fundamental change in the narrative.
But hang on, doesn't relying on one absolutely massive contract, even with a great counterparty, introduce just immense concentration risk?
That is absolutely the right question. And it points to why analysts see this differently from, say, a standard hosting deal. The reason they're calling this deal moated comes down to two things: payment security and technical stability. Having FluidStack involved with that Google backing provides a level of stability and, frankly, payment reliability you just don't get with smaller, maybe less stable clients. So the contract effectively lets the market value the company less on those volatile, high-risk earnings multiples typical for miners.
Right, which can swing wildly.
Exactly. And more on secured revenue, which is how you value stable infrastructure companies. That's the core reason you saw all those massive analyst upgrades jump out. This whole strategic pivot, it underpins those really bullish future earnings projections we're seeing. It's forecast to accelerate top-line growth much more predictably than just mining Bitcoin ever could.
Okay, so strategy sounds good. Let's move to the cold, hard fundamentals, the numbers. Because here we see that, that dichotomy you mentioned earlier. Strong revenue growth, yes, but still negative earnings. Let's start with the good part. Revenue's been really strong. Hit $158.85 million, trailing 12 months as of October 2025. That's up 19.3% year over year. Pretty solid.
Very solid growth.
In their Q2 financials, they reported $151.27 million in revenue with a strong gross margin too, 39.6%.
Yeah, that gross margin is definitely excellent. It confirms they are efficient operationally in their existing mining.
Right.
But we have to address the other side. Those net losses. They widened to minus $44.64 million.
Oh.
And the operational loss is, it's immense. The EBIT margin is still deeply negative, minus 98.1%.
Minus 98%. For anyone listening who isn't deep in the weeds, a nearly 100% negative operating margin. I mean, that sounds like a total catastrophe.
It sounds alarming, absolutely.
So how do we reconcile that operational hemorrhage, basically, with the strong gross margin and this whole bullish AI infrastructure story? How long can they keep burning cash like that before it becomes a real structural problem?
Okay, so the sources explain this primarily as a function of really aggressive investment, not necessarily operational failure day to day. That negative 98.1% EBIT margin. It reflects massive ramp-up costs. They're scaling infrastructure for that new AI contract. Think about the build-out at sites like Barber Lake.
Okay, so upfront costs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Heavy spending on people,
Yeah.
setup, depreciation, all hitting the books before the actual revenue from those new facilities starts flowing through the income statement. The consensus view is that this negative margin is temporary. It represents that CapEx being recognized early, which is actually pretty common in these high-growth infrastructure plays.
Right. Build it now, earn later.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And critically, connecting this back, the company seems to have the financial strength to actually absorb this spending phase. Their balance sheet looks like a fortress, according to the sources. They've got a current ratio of 4.2.
Okay, translate that. What does 4.2 mean practically?
It means for every dollar they owe in the short term, they have $4.20 in assets they can easily access to cover it. That's incredibly high liquidity. Really rare when you're scaling this hard and spending this much capital.
Got it. So they have cash, or near cash.
Loads of it. And leverage is low, too. Suggests pretty conservative financial management overall, even though, yes, those strategic capital expenditures have led to, what was it, $93.17 million in negative free cash flow so far this year. But the point is, they're investing today to secure that $3 billion, potentially $7 billion, tomorrow. And they seem to have the resources to bridge that gap.
And the market certainly seems to have absorbed that view, or at least is betting on it. Analyst forecasts shot up after the news. Multiple sell-side analysts raising price targets. You had Northland at $14.50, Canaccord at $16, Needham $15, Rosenblatt $14. Pretty tight cluster there.
Yeah, strong consensus building.
But then you've got the outlier, BT-ish. They set an extremely bullish target of $25. That's way above the others. Why would one firm be so much more optimistic?
That's a good catch.
Sure.
BT Edge higher target probably stems from a belief that this fluid stack deal isn't the end game, it's just the beginning. They likely think that landing one top-tier hyperscaler customer creates this huge competitive advantage, a real moat, as they call it.
Ah, okay. First mover advantage, maybe.
Something like that. And they're probably applying a significantly higher price-to-sales multiple in their valuation model, maybe something more typical of a pure data center REIT or a dedicated tech infrastructure provider, rather than the sort of blended multiple the other analysts might be using, still accounting for some mining risk.
So BTIG is betting big on the long-term high-value AI compute shift, and Cipher being a prime beneficiary.
Essentially, yes. They're pricing in more of that future transformation happening faster and more completely.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for traders too. The technical signals. The market reacted very decisively to the news. What are the charts telling us? Is this institutional money flowing in?
It certainly looks like it.
On October 8th, Cipher mining surged 13%. Right. Broke out decisively above that key resistance around $17.50. And it hit a 52-week high of $20.60. I mean, that kind of strong volume, strong price action, that doesn't usually happen without serious institutional buyers stepping in.
Absolutely agree. The technical momentum is undeniably strong, and it seems to be confirming that strategic shift we talked about. The stock is trading significantly above its 50-day moving average, which is way down around $9.48.
Okay.
And dramatically above its 200-day moving average, down at $5.56.
Wow. Big difference.
Trading comfortably above both, like that. That's like the premier technical signal for sustained bullish momentum. It's what chart watchers love to see. Now, if we look at volatility, yeah, it's elevated, around 25.6%, not surprising after a big move. But the buying, the accumulation, it looks pretty orderly according to the sources. And here's a key point. The 14-day relative strength index, the RSI, it's sitting around 41.67.
Wait a minute. After surging like that to a 52-week high, shouldn't the RSI be screaming overbought, like up in the 70s or 80s? Well, why is it only in the low 40s?
That is the interesting signal, isn't it? An RSI in the mid-40s after a massive price breakout like that, it implies the stock is actually consolidating quite healthily. It suggests that initial breakout was maybe fueled more by those fundamental changes in institutional buying.
Yes. Rather than just like short-term retail hype that fizzles out.
Exactly. That relatively low RSI suggests there could still be substantial room for more upside, for extended rallies, without hitting those immediate overbought warning signs, especially since the MESED indicator is also showing a positive trend. Things look constructive, technically.
Okay, but we can't just focus on the good stuff. For you, the listener, considering this, we absolutely need to clearly lay out the risks involved. You can't ignore these factors, even with all the bullish news and charts. First, we have to circle back to that concentration risk. It's great having fluid stack, high-quality counterparty.
For sure.
But relying on that single contract for the vast majority of your future revenue, That represents a massive vulnerability if anything ever went wrong with that specific agreement. Interruption, termination, anything.
Absolutely. It's the flip side of having such a transformative deal. It becomes mission critical. The other huge risk is execution. Pure and simple, can they deliver? The risk tied to the rapid build-out of these new facilities like Barber Lake is immense. Scaling infrastructure that quickly, that complexly, it always increases the potential for, technical problems, budget blowouts, supply chain delays.
All those things that can derail a big project.
Yeah.
Management has to execute flawlessly here. There's not much room for error on such a massive expansion.
Agreed. And we can't just forget the inherent sector risk either. Despite this pivot towards HPC and AI, the company still holds Bitcoin on its balance sheet, right? So it remains somewhat sensitive to big swings in Bitcoin price and always potential regulatory actions in the crypto space generally.
True, that hasn't entirely gone away.
And finally, that current unprofitability we discussed. Those sustained net losses, they are still a risk if execution stumbles or if that AI revenue recognition gets pushed back further than analysts expect.
Okay, risks acknowledged. Now let's look ahead. The immediate future, say, the next 3 months. What are the short-term catalysts? Things that can move the stock further or give investors those crucial updates they're waiting for.
Okay, first up, the big one. Q3 2025 earnings, expected around October 30th. This report is really key because it's projected to show the first full quarter run rate contributions from both the expanded mining at Barber Lake and the initial activities tied to that fluid stack agreement.
So we start to see the impact on the numbers.
Exactly. Investors will be laser focused on the cash flow burn rate, is it improving, and any progress on shrinking that big operating loss.
Makes sense. What else?
Following earnings, through November and December, we should expect, or at least hope for, key operational milestone updates on the fluid stack build-out itself.
Like progress reports.
Yeah. These updates give direct visibility into how well they're executing, which, given the risks we just discussed, is absolutely critical information for the market.
Got it. Anything else on the radar?
We'll keep an eye out for potential institutional ETF rebalancing activity, especially around November 1st. Sometimes shifts in index weightings can trigger significant buying or selling flows purely for technical reasons.
Okay. Index inclusion or exclusion effects.
Could be a factor. But the biggest financial catalyst is probably expected around December 2nd. That's the estimated date for the initial FluidStack AI hosting revenue recognition, when they actually start booking revenue from the deal.
Okay, so that's when the contract officially starts translating into P&L impact.
That's the moment, yeah. Marks the physical shift from potential to actual recognized revenue. Huge milestone. So if we try to tie this all together, connect it back to the bigger picture. The overall bullish case seems to rest on three main pillars, things that kind of distinguish Cipher mining right now. First, that fortress balance sheet we talk about, enabling the growth spend. Second, the accelerating and seemingly moated growth, thanks to the fluid stack deal, that shift into high-value HPC.
Right.
And third, the strong technical picture and the clear analyst support that came after that strategic breakout news. It feels validated.
So wrapping this up, what does all this analysis mean for you, the listener, who might be considering a purchase decision today? Our sources seem to suggest maybe two primary ways to look at it, depending on your time frame and, frankly, your appetite for risk.
Sounds right.
For the short term, say the next 1 to 3 months. The stock looks potentially attractive for momentum traders, targeting those upcoming Q3 earnings, the operational updates. That healthy technical consolidation we discussed could support that kind of trade.
Makes sense. Playing the catalyst.
Then for the longer-term investor, thinking 1 to 3 years out, Cipher mining appears pretty well positioned if you're targeting that structural growth in compute power, both AI and maybe still some crypto exposure. You're essentially banking on those secured contracts holding up and benefiting from the broader tailwinds in the data center space. You're buying into an infrastructure transformation story.
I think that sums it up well. And maybe one final provocative thought to leave you with. Given the company's demonstrated infrastructure capability now, that strong balance sheet and this successful pivot towards high-performance computing, what's the real likelihood that the current chatter, the speculation you hear about further partnerships, maybe with other hyperscale cloud providers?
Like FluidStack was just the first domino.
Could be. Or even potential M&A interest. Think about major data center aggregators, the big REITs, maybe looking for a quick way to acquire AI-ready capacity and expertise.
Ooh, an acquisition target. That would certainly change the valuation calculus again.
It certainly would. So keep an eye on that specific market chatter. If a major player decides Cipher mining is a strategic asset they need to own, well, that could be the next major step change event, something that fundamentally revalues the company, potentially beyond what even the current bullish analyst models are predicting.